I've been working for the government most of my life, so I've been privy to countless speeches, presentations, and motivation techniques, and I cannot recall a single instance when I was blown away by the occasion. Nothing compares to the blandness of a change of command speech or an organizational restructuring presentation. I'd rather contemplate the hygienic consequences of emptying a spit valve on a trumpet. Throughout these experiences, I've told myself I'd do this differently. I would infuse enthusiasm, inspiration, audience participation in my delivery. I'll have the audience eating out of my hand. Well, I have done quite a few tech talks since then, and each time I have fallen into the same track as the people who I complained about. And after watching the assigned videos, I felt really stupid. Boring PowerPoint slides, cheesy cartoons, and let me tell you a little bit about myself. Start-offs just don't appeal to the audience. But they have been my modus operandi for years, just as they have been for my contemporaries. What I've always tried to do, however, is incorporate three main objectives: get to the point, be a straight shooter, and inject humor, usually in the form of sarcasm, or it turns out that way. And I try to avoid the overused words and phrases of the day, like any kind of card, as in the race card or the martyr card, and going forward and slippery slope. Nancy Duarte explains resonance on page 4 of her book, Resonate, as occurring when an object's natural vibration frequency responds to an external stimulus of the same frequency. Looking at it another way, a waveform that is 180 degrees out of phase will cause anti-resonance, will cancel out the original frequency. So we mustn't be the opposite of our audience. I believe I have failed to resonate at times by not really listening to the other side of a conversation. I consciously try to listen and not think ahead about the next point I wish to make. In other words, I try not to be selfish. One thing I could try to do this month in order to resonate with my audience is know my audience. I need to realize that my presentation is not about me, but about you. I was pleasantly surprised that the book Resonate used examples of great communicators that I would choose as good examples, such as Ronald Reagan, John Kennedy, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Steve Jobs. I would add to that list, and I'm only sorry that the recorded voice wasn't around then, Abe Lincoln, Patrick Henry, Shakespeare, Julius Caesar, and the epitome for me would have been present for the Sermon on the Mount and the Beatitudes. I saw Genesis in concert back in the 80s, and Phil Collins was a great example of someone who can mesh with the audience through ad-lib chatter and audience participation. I like Nancy Duarte's tips to avoid the selfish approach to presentations. Sure, we all want to sell our services, ourselves, our company, our products, but these desires are best served through handouts that can be read later. Humility is the key to leadership. Strength is important, but should be silent. On a three-legged stool, all three legs must be strong and supportive. If any one of those legs are weak, the stool is unstable and might collapse. So far, I find two of my legs pretty secure, the message and the delivery. The weakest leg is the visual story. Too often, after a presentation, I catch myself thinking, oh man, I should have included this story or anecdote. I can remedy this by preparing earlier and searching my past for any lesson learned that may be used to drive home a point. I hope this video has been helpful. It's been helpful to me creating it, and I welcome all your feedback. Thank you very much.